Well, next up on the schedule is the day one recap, and we can just start that a little bit early. Because I would like feedback, and hopefully some people can take notes on this, because that's what we're, again, not as necessarily good at from carrying on from year to year. So from a just purely administrative viewpoint, or purely logistical, I guess would be a better word. One of my takeaways is we probably have to run the lightning talks better, which I think I probably said last year too. And that we probably need to make them actual lightning talks. If you're ever given a talk at I'll call it a real conference with lightning talks, you have to have your slides as, 20 seconds per slide. The time's automatic. You don't get a control. That's the time slot you get. When it's done, the next guy's standing up. So we probably need to do that so we don't run into the scheduling snafus we ran into. But it turns out some of the other demos were shorter because we didn't. Again, we had an objective when we did our, first let me say, at the end of tomorrow, there is a couple hour slot. We're going to again do a recap like we're doing today, but then there's sort of some, I'll call it leftover time that we're going to use for, hey, let's start planning for the future. What are the next steps? And let's actually start getting down and start doing all these things we forget to do, like documenting what we actually did for the last 2 days, trying to get this stuff to work. We had an objective to be a little bit further along. And, some of the demos today, you notice, had a little bit more hand waving in them than we had hoped when we planned it. But to be honest, we've come a really, really long way since the first one of these. I guess 7 ago, the 7th one of these. The first ones were, 100% hand waving and not a lot of backup before. We have a lot of really good open source. We actually have standard interfaces that are used in production. We saw stuff that was from production machines, and yeah, we're conference, so we tend to be showing the stuff that actually isn't out in the field yet. We're just at the leading edge of it. But some of the stuff that is out in the field is really making a difference. The other, I guess my other sort of takeaway is I do think, somebody asked me about this on a break as well, as sort of where do we stand overall? I do think we've come a really long way, and that we have a lot of base standards now to basically be used. They are actually being used. They are being extended to be used in other areas. The very famous saying, the future is here, it's just not evenly distributed. We aren't maybe as in use in as many places as we'd like. We may not have some of those, bells and whistles that we'd like to have on everything. We probably need to get pretty quick because of the world, the bad guys are outpacing us, but we're doing a little bit better at catching up. I think we're doing that. We had some very good talks today. I think the opening keynote was really, really, really good. I think the lightning talks were, again, partly educational to get everybody up to speed with the soup, but the actual demos we had, again, real life stuff. We're using real data there. Again, some of them we used the video, or some of them were, we had pre-staged, but the reality is that stuff does work. So again, sometimes the demo gods get us, and sometimes it's just a matter of, yeah, we have to do video stuff because it's going to be real. It's 2 hours of people watching screenshots. That's sort of my takeaways. What the other people think. Sort of, if people want to just put their hands in the air and do hey, this was useless, to this was the best thing since sliced bread, to some number between 0 and 5, hold your hands up. How do you think today was? Don't look at your neighbors before you give the answer. Come on. All right, you're all asleep. All right, see some. All right. Still some good. Some half of you are still asleep, but at least some of you did.
I learned a lot about sticks today.
That's good. It's just one of the core bases of what we've been doing for a while.
Yeah, for a while. 15 years. All told.
Yeah, I really appreciated when the Sticks XML got put up there, because for those who remember, way back to when it was a DHS project before. I'll call on Dave in a second. But way back before it was even before it was an Oasis project. When it was just a DHS project. I think you can go look at the email trails, and Britt Jordan and myself were why are you using XML? Shouldn't you be using JSON? I mean, literally.
Oh, okay, so you're going to start that battle again?
You're the two dissenting votes on XML.
You guys won. It should be more.
Well, we won, but it took 5 years before we won. I'll wait 1 sec, because Dave Camp had his hand up first. Dave Camp.
That's Philly.
Yeah, I like the courage in using live demos. If we want to play along with the activity of doing Sticks and Taxi, there's apparently you would need to join a community in order to access the IMX server, because I was trying to get there and nothing happens. So is there a way to follow on with the demos that we're having today?
That's an excellent question that we're gonna spend some time on talking in that last 2-hour session tomorrow. That is the hope of Patrick set up here, and that is the hope of Stevens hoping to get his company to sponsor a cyber range. So that those two particular events are to hope to try and get these to be able to be instituted outside. Now, whether everybody who demoed stuff today could do that, but since I think Charlie was intending to put some of his stuff on Patrick's stuff, and since Stephen literally left his pie up on the table here, so he hopefully doesn't forget it, I assume he also wants to get a hut in Patrick's stuff. So that the sort of hope of this village concept is that, yeah, we will get to that. And one of the problems we have had over the last however many years we've been doing this is we're very date driven. You know, and the dates are driven by, hey, people can't host one of these things every day. In fact, finding the host for these events is literally the hardest thing to do. And we can only do them so often. And every time we do it, it puts a stake in the ground, and sort of nothing happens for a long time until we get near the stake, and then everybody rushes to put everything together and we get it ready. So one of Patrick's goals and Stephen's goals, I won't say the rest of our goals, but they're putting the actual effort into doing it, is to get to the point where, no, we don't have to have one of these events to work on it. I need to get my stuff, to talk to Dave Kemp's stuff, to talk to Dave Lemire's stuff, to talk to Patrick's stuff, to talk to Charlie's stuff. Which we have, you know, we actually showed that particular string that I just said to talk to Xiaowei stuff too. We actually did that particular string at the last one of these. But we did it at the last one of these, and then we went home, and literally we didn't do it again today because it was just too much work. Whereas if we had the thing set up, it would have been, hey, just to show you that we've done this before, click, 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 here it is live again. And maybe advance it a little bit. But it's just, you know, it's been too much work for too little gain to do too many of the repeats or too many of the incremental gains, that I think the objective is to do exactly as Dave asked us to do. And Dave, I will hold you to making sure that your organization supports us in doing more of this too. But that's
Open C2 things around the village.
Yeah. And then there was another question in the room, hand
I
up.
was only going to let you know there was a raised hand.
Oh, okay. All right, so we took care of that.
But, you know, to your point on the demonstrations, the point of building this village is we're gonna get this stuff running, it's gonna keep running. Then we're gonna make it run better, we're gonna add more pieces, so the next time we do have one of these together things, we will be running much more real-time live simulations.
Right, because we'll have the week before made sure that everything worked, and then it's
Well,
just,
we
hey,
will.
we're just,
We're
hey,
gonna
it's been
get it
working
working,
for a while.
and we're not gonna tear it down.
Right.
And then come back in a year or 6 months.